Hello, everyone. Welcome into Yelling from the Couch. I'm Brent Humphreys. I am joined once again by my co-host Gordon Chatterton. We're here to talk a little college football. Gordon, last night we got on the podcast there and we talked some NFL and a few different things there with Gage. You doing all right still today, man? Buckeyes got a big win last week, beat down Wisconsin.
Great.
You got me now?
Yeah, I got you now. Oh yeah, that was a beatdown. They buried the Badgers, 34-0.
Yeah.
The first time I've seen this stat in a long time. 54 yards passing. Overall, 49. They had a 5-yard loss on the backup quarterback coming in. 50 yards passing. There it is. 54 yards passing, 95 yards rushing on 31 attempts. Overall, pretty good defensive performance.
Yeah, not too bad at all. And then my team last week welcomed in the Texas Longhorns, and what a game that was. Ugly all the way through. They go to overtime and fall. Man, yeah, not good.
But that's what I told you last week. I was like, Kentucky plays a style that Texas doesn't play well with. They should have won that game.
Yeah, they definitely should have won that game. But some questionable decisions there, bad special teams play, which we'll get into it in depth here in just a minute. But just overall, not too good there for Kentucky last week, but a good week for Ohio State. This week coming up, Ohio State, they don't play anybody. They're on a bye. And Kentucky welcomes in that stupid team down south in the Commonwealth Stadium. 2 weeks in a row, Kentucky plays UT. It is what it is. And tonight, and a lot of Kentucky fans, though, after last week, they're definitely checked out. They got the number one team in the land in basketball coming in to play an exhibition game tonight at Rupp Arena in the Purdue Boilermakers. So a lot of Kentucky fans are focused in on college basketball. I'm still on the football train, because it's football. But there's some hope with Kentucky. I think Cutter Boley looked really good last week. Like I said, we'll get into that here in a second. But Gordon, your Packers, they've got a big game this Sunday we talked about. After we got done recording, Gage sent me a thing that there's a lot of strange things that happen in Pittsburgh on Sunday night games.
Oh, yeah. Well, like I said last night, that little nugget, though. Packers haven't won there since, I think it was 1970, but it was early 70s. They can't seem to beat him at night. I can't seem to beat him in Pittsburgh.
In 2024 against the Cowboys on Sunday night, game goes to an hour delay and the game ends at 1 a.m. 2024 against the Jets, Russell Wilson blows out Aaron Rodgers for a huge win in his debut for Pittsburgh. 2022 versus the Ravens, Pickett leads an incredible game-winning drive capped off by a touchdown throw to Najee Harris. 2021 versus the Steelers, T.J. Watt strip sacks Geno Smith in overtime and puts the Steelers in field goal position. 2021 versus the Chargers, Steelers pull off an incredible comeback down 17 but fall short in the final minutes. All within the last 5 years on Sunday Night Football in Pittsburgh. Are we shaping up for another classic in Pittsburgh on Sunday night?
I hope so, but I hope it's in my team's favor. But
I do too.
It is Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is, he is who he is. He knows how to read defenses. You can't fool him. You can't trick him. Only thing you hope for is that your team just can cover.
And they didn't do a good job covering last week.
I would keep Xavier McKinney over DK Metcalf the entire game. They did a good job covering Trey McBride. They kept leaving him wide open.
Yeah, well, Pittsburgh didn't do a good job covering either.
Rodgers would just, no. Pittsburgh can't cover nobody. They couldn't cover you right now, I don't think.
I'd go out there and get a yard or two off of them. I'm fine with that.
They couldn't cover me, and I'm slower.
So, man, so last week, let's go ahead and let's talk about it here, I guess. Let's start off with the game last week on college. Man, last week, college football, I don't know. Miami goes down on Friday night. That was kind of surprising to Louisville. I didn't see that coming.
No, they must have been watching because I said you could almost you could double or triple that spread and they would still cover it. Loserville must have been watching and said, did you hear what he called us and what he said? Because they opened up a can on him. Yeah. Carson Beck looked more like Carson Beck of last year than he has so far this year.
Yeah.
That was horrible.
Yeah, he definitely looked like the old Carson Beck and not the Carson Beck we thought we had this year for sure. He looked like Georgia last year Carson Beck. Not good.
Yeah, turnover machine.
Yeah, was it 4 interceptions, I believe, last week? Just not Heisman worthy there and not playoff worthy for Miami after that performance.
Yeah, Heisman odds just a lot last.
Yeah, I think we could remove his name from the cap from the Heisman odds after last week's game.
Yeah, they say Castellanos was up there. He's gone. Sellers was up there for a while. He was going. He was
He's
going a little
gone.
while ago.
Yep.
Arch Manning was up there.
John
He's
Mateen gone.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, Manning is low or very high odds. If he was to win right now, if you put a dollar bet, you'd probably win 2,500. That's about how low his odds are.
Carson Beck now gone. Speaking of gone, we have another firing in college football, and that is Billy Napier is fired from Florida after beating Mississippi State the previous day. Gordon, there were rumors last week that they were talking whether he won or lost. He was gone. Boy, them rumors turned out to be true. Billy Napier fired from Florida. What do you make of it, Gordon?
I think it was about 2 years too late. I think they should have got rid of him a while back. Although, I mean, most teams would probably say, no, we wanted him to stay because he couldn't win. He couldn't hardly win any games. They had a better chance at winning when he was the coach. But UK didn't matter because they got a coach they want to get rid of too, and he couldn't seem to beat Florida either. So, hey, but maybe they'll get someone that can beat everybody else. It's just not UK.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who they want, but like after Jeff Brom won last week at Miami, he's becoming a candidate now for Florida. I don't know if that would be a good move or not. Jeff Brom, decent coach, but I wouldn't consider. I mean, if you're wanting to win championships, I don't think Jeff Brom's your answer down there in Florida. But hey, who knows?
I don't think there is an answer out there right now. All the answers has already got a job they want.
I'll tell you who to go get. Urban Meyer. Why not? You know, hey, if he wants to do it, run it back, right?
Well, nah. I don't think UK wants Urban Meyer to go back to Florida.
No, they don't. But
hey,
I'm
I got
thinking
an
for
idea.
Florida's sake.
I got an idea for you. It would help you, and they should draw Mark Stoops away from Kentucky to go to Florida.
I don't think Florida's that dumb. I would take it though, for sure. But they wouldn't go for that. There was rumors that Virginia Tech was talking to Mark Stoops. I mean, I'll drive him to Blacksburg if need be.
Hey, and you'd probably take money out of your own pocket to drive him too.
Yeah, absolutely. Use my own gas money, and I'll take him there, pack up his stuff, and move to Blacksburg. I'm fine with that. Just get him out of Lexington.
Say, your house, you're going to have to buy a mover, but, I'll drive you yourself there.
Yeah, I'll take you right now.
Well, on the drive down there, we'll have a talk about how dumb was that shit.
Yeah. Get somebody else in here. Man. But so last week, Texas defeats Kentucky 16-13 in overtime. Gordon, what was your overall thoughts on this matchup?
I was sitting there. Well, me and you talked back and forth. I was working, so I didn't get to actually watch it. I was impressed what I saw from the defense, or what I read from the defense as it was game casting. A lot of stops, played very good. You sent me some, and I was like, well, I didn't see that, but I can see Mark Stoops calling something dumb. A lot of bad play calls. Cutter Boley, like you said, did play very good. He was 31 of 39 for 258 yards. He did have a pick, but overall, that's highly efficient. But the bad part is, I think your leading rusher was Boley, and then your leading receiver was McGowan, the running back. Yep. That was your leading receiver. Hey, whatever works. If that work, I mean, if your leading receiver is a running back, that could be fine. That happens a lot. But like you always said, your leading rusher should never be your quarterback.
No.
But overall, I think he played a good game. I thought he did have a rushing touchdown, so he did have a touchdown. Not passing, but he did have a rushing.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to throw out a few stats here for you, Gordon, and just listen to these right here. Okay. Kentucky, 26 first downs. Texas, 8. Total yards, Kentucky, 395. Texas, 179. Kentucky passing yards, 258. Texas, 132. Rushing yards, 137 for Kentucky, 47 for Texas. Time of possession, 39 minutes, 23 seconds for Kentucky, 20 minutes, 37 seconds for Texas. If you just looked at the stats, who would you say won that game? Like, lots of.
You thought Kentucky just blowed them the hell out.
Yeah. You would think so with the way that was right there, and it wasn't the case. Texas wins in overtime, 16-13. But, man, Arch Manning, 12 of 27, 32 yards. 11 carries, minus 1 yard. Sacks are included in on that. Eisner, 37 yards rushing. Only 45 yards rushing. 258 yards, as you mentioned. 31 of 39, 1 pick, no touchdowns. Through the air, on the ground he had 1. Seth McGowan, 45 yards rushing, 68 yards receiving. Also in the third quarter, Seth McGowan went to the hospital. Got a got tested out and came back and played in the fourth quarter. I've never seen or heard of a player going to the hospital in the middle of the game and coming back and playing afterwards. That's crazy.
Well, that's resilience.
Definitely resilience.
That's resilience personified. Yeah, I was sitting there looking at that and I was like, 7 receptions for 68 yards for Seth McGowan, leading receiver. It's like everything went backwards. I was almost expecting to see a wide receiver, the leading rusher.
Yeah. Instead, you get the quarterback.
Yeah.
But what was the key for Kentucky in this was Texas had 2 punt returns that went for a lot of yards that got them into range to where they scored a touchdown off of one of them and they kicked a field goal off the other one. That really swung things back into Texas's, favor. There was special teams, man. You got 3 phases of the game. You look good on offense for the most part against a good defense, and you play really good defense against that Texas team, but you fail in special teams, and that's ultimately what loses you the game.
Yeah, well, coaches don't seem to want to practice special teams anymore, and I guess it's because of the rules now, where they changed the rules about practicing, and it's biting coaches in the ass.
Yeah.
Kentucky should have won that game. They should have blown them out.
And the way the stats were, they looked like they did. But special teams, man, 3 phases.
That's why I said I looked at that. I wrote that down, 39 minutes and 23 seconds. And I was like, they had the ball almost for virtually 3 damn quarters.
Yeah. And in overtime, let's talk about overtime here real quick. Kentucky gets the ball first. The very first play of overtime, they're at the 25, a 22-yard pass to Kendrick Law, get them down to the 3, first and goal from the Texas 3. Now, you've got 3 downs here from the 3, maybe 4, or depends. What would you call, to begin with? The first play, I would call a running play. Okay, I got it. Second play, that running play was pretty much stuffed. So will they run the second play? Another running play. Okay, we're at 3rd down now. We're about at the 1. A 3rd down, they run the ball once again, right up the middle. Same play as they did the last 2 plays. Stuff. Now we're at 4th down. Now we got a decision. Do we kick the field goal to try to extend the overtime, or do we try to get a touchdown here because why not? They elect to go for the touchdown. I'm not mad at the decision there. What I'm mad about is the play call. Because, Gordon, you know what they ran on 4th down?
Same play?
They play right up the middle. They did the same 3 plays before that. What are you doing? Change something up between one of them plays. Dante Dowdell try to jump over once again, right up the middle. And guess what Texas's strength is on defense?
Running up the middle.
Defensive line. Yes, the big beefy guys in the middle. Run away from them. Try something else, anything. Get Cutter out, let him roll out or something.
That would have been a good time. 2nd down would have been a good time for a play fake.
Yes. Instead, they decide to run the same play every time right up the middle. And it's like, okay, the people's blaming Bush Hamden, the offensive coordinator. He's somewhat at fault. But I think ultimately this falls back on one man only, and that is the head coach of our Kentucky football Wildcats, Mark Stoops, the conservative play calling.
Shit rolls downhill, so it starts at the top and comes down.
Yeah, and there's a lot of it coming down, too. It's just the same thing over and over with him, and you've got to change something up. You don't go into somebody's strength 4 times in a row. What they say the definition of insanity is? It's doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. Well, that was insanity on Saturday.
Actually, 2nd down. 1st down, I would have probably done the play fake, or maybe you could have probably squeaked Caddis out in the corner there, off into the flat, and hit him for a touchdown.
Yeah, I would have even liked a jet sweep to Kendrick Law. God knows they love running jet sweeps with Kendrick Law. I would have accepted that at one point in time out of the 4 plays.
Yeah, on 2nd down.
Yeah.
He might have lost a couple yards, but you know what that would have meant? They wasn't going to try to run it up the middle again.
Hey, they would have done something else. Maybe they could have brought in Seth McGowan at that point, and he could have broke one over to the side somewhere. But no, we get Dante Dowdell in there, and let's run him straight up the gut every time, man. So that was Kentucky's game on Saturday. A loss in overtime. Once again, Kentucky, they hang tough with a tough team, but they ultimately can't pull off the win, which has been just about Mark Stoops' career, just about in Kentucky, especially the last few years. And that's why it's time. I think he knows it's about time, but they still got that buyout hanging over him somehow, some way. But I got a feeling that could get done if they really wanted it to get done. I'm ready. clearing out my throat here, warming up the windpipes a little bit, getting ready to start singing it a little bit. The fat lady singing, so the fat guy might as well too. Oh man, enough of the Kentucky for right now. We'll talk about them here after a while. They've got a game this week. That should be lovely. But Ohio State last week, Gordon. Let's dive into the Ohio State win last week. And man, they routed Wisconsin 34-0 at Camp Randall. Just dominating performance from start to finish. Wisconsin under 150 yards total offense. Ohio State just looks like the national championship contenders once again. And Wisconsin looks like maybe Luke Fickell may not last through the rest of the season. What do you think, Gordon?
They kind of talk like they're not going to fire him, but how could you not after that? Because that was just atrocious. Now, granted, he can say, no, that is Ohio State. They did the same thing to Texas damn near. Held them to only 7 points and made him look anemic. So he last week was kind of like a given, kind of like they knew he was going to get routed. But overall, yeah, I don't think he might make it to the end of the season, but I don't think he's going to make it to next season.
No, I don't think he is either. And the only thing is they held Texas to 7 points, but Wisconsin put up as many points as me and you did watching that game. And they haven't looked good all season. The first time we really saw that was when they played Alabama, and Alabama just took it to them that day. And it's like, okay, this Wisconsin team is not like a normal Wisconsin team, especially at home.
No. I mean, like I said, but I said he's got that, but Alabama is Alabama, Ohio State is Ohio State. So they probably said, well, they were really good teams. They're hard to, but if they turn around and look and say, well, yeah, but the Ohio Bobcats put up 9 points against them.
Yeah,
they moved the ball.
Yeah, they put up 9 more points than they did. And
yeah,
I was with them like 13-9 up into the second half or something like that. Second quarter.
Yeah. I think Ryan Day took his foot off the gas in respect of Luke Fickell, because where he was the defensive coordinator. Because it was 17-0 in the first quarter. They could have mowed. It could have been 34-0 by the end of the. He slowed down and said, nah, we don't need to embarrass him that bad.
Julian just saying.
This team sucks. He can't beat us.
Julian just saying. 36-42, 393 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 picks. What a game.
Yeah. But once again, Carnell Tate is being the beneficiary of having Jeremiah Smith on the other side. He's a 1, but he's 1B to Jeremiah Smith's 1A. And boy, he's taking full advantage of it. Another game with 2 touchdown catches. He didn't have the yards, but he had the 2 tutties. But I'll give Wisconsin this. Wisconsin's running defense has held us in check.
Yeah, Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson really hasn't had that much of a game here lately. He's been held in check quite a bit, it seems like, but who needs it with the passing game? And Carnell Tate had 111 yards receiving. He had 111 yards receiving, and Smith had 97 yards receiving, so almost 100 yards from 2 different receivers.
Yeah, but I said, though, I much prefer the passing game, but you got to be able to run. Mm-hmm. They'll get it started again. Some guy named, I think it was Isaiah West. Isaiah West was like the leading rusher. I never heard of him before, but he didn't do too bad when he was in there.
And then you mentioned on the other side, Hunter Simmons, 6 of 12, 54 yards, an interception, man. And then the running back had 11 carries for 30 yards. Yikes.
Yeah, they totaled like 95 yards rushing on 31 carries, but that was...
So I'll go over the Ohio State stats too here. This kind of sounds like Kentucky and Texas. Ohio State, 26 first downs, 9 to Wisconsin. 191 total yards to 144. 393 passing to 49 for Wisconsin. Rushing yards, 98 for Ohio State and 95 for Wisconsin. Time of possession, 33 minutes, 57 seconds for Ohio State, 26:03 for Wisconsin. So not that too bad. Not that too big of a difference between time of possessions between the teams. But, man, everything else was... Woo.
Yeah, time of possession and rushing yards were pretty close, but everything else was like way different.
Yeah, way off. And Julian Sayin has entered the chat for Heisman Trophy candidate, I believe.
I'm not saying he shouldn't be, but I don't want him thinking about that. Every time we get ones in the Heisman candidate, they have a blow up game. So no, let's not. No. Let's wait until the season's over with, and then they can start talking about him being Heisman candidate.
Well, he's going to be talked about as Heisman candidate now with performances like that. So maybe he just won't listen to the noise, but he's in there now. So that's going to lead us into our next segment, Gordon, and that would be Yell or No Yell. Gordon, you got some Yell or No Yell topics for me this week?
Yeah, I have four. Wait a minute, I'm sorry. I disappeared into the wall. Okay. My first topic is NFL. Yeah, I've got two NFLs and two college. So first NFL. Tua needs benched.
Yell. Yell, absolutely. Tua, I believe Tua's career is probably about over with. I think the concussions and stuff's finally catching up to him mentally. It sounds like the way he's talking after some of these games, the way he's playing, it's not good. I think it's time for him to go. I think it's time for McDaniels to go, and I think Tyreek Hill also is talking about maybe retiring. So just blow up that whole Dolphins team, start over. That's what you're going to have to do and do a complete rebuild. But it starts with getting Tua out of there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, I completely agree. That's the reason why I wrote it down. What Mike McDaniel said, we're going to start Tua and hope he doesn't throw 10 interceptions.
Yeah. Oh, man.
That's a hell of a soundbite. That's a hell of a soundbite.
I wonder if that's a real one or if that's just an AI thing.
I saw it on ESPN.
Man, yeah, but it's a mess down there in Miami for sure.
Yeah, it's
Not
it's
getting better.
atrocious.
Yeah. So my first Yell or No Yell topic is if you're an owner of an NFL team and you bash your starting quarterback, he should have the right to come back and bash you as well for not putting anything else around him.
Well, I'm going to yell with you on this. There's repercussions for it because the owner signs your paychecks. But yes, you should be able to without repercussion because if he bashed you, you should be able to bash back.
Yes, absolutely you should. I mean, like, you're the one that's paying the other players to come out here and fielding this team. And if you don't have enough guys to help out your quarterback, how are you going to sit there and blame your quarterback for the issues?
I know. Are you talking about the comment from
Justin Fields, Woody Johnson? Yep.
Yeah, the Jets? Justin Fields has been on pretty shitty teams. He was on, he had terrible coach and coordinator in Chicago. And then of course, now it's atrocious. He was good in Pittsburgh last year. He won 6 games. He's not bad.
I don't think they should have benched him when Russell came back, but hey.
No, they shouldn't have. He was 6-1 whenever they benched him?
Yeah, something like that.
Well, I know he had 6 wins. It's either 6-1 or 6-2. And then you benched him, and then they have one good offensive game, and then he didn't get to start again. Jets are a mess, and they've always been a mess. I don't want to see him go there, but the place where he needs to go, believe it or not, to resurrect his career is the same place where Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold went. Go to Minnesota.
Yep, Kevin O'Connell.
I don't want him. I don't want him there. And I believe he's good, and he could be better if he had an offensive line in front. If he didn't get the hell beat out of him every game.
That'd or go to San Francisco. I mean, they seem to just plug and play quarterbacks out there too.
Well, he can go there too. At least he's not in my division.
Yeah, Shanahan system there. He seems to just whoever you want. Sam Darnold was out there too and played decent when he got a shot with him. Not obviously not like he did in Minnesota, but
Well, he started turning his career around in San Francisco. Then he went to Minnesota, and it just
yeah, absolutely. So that's what I think there on mine. Your next one, Gordon.
Second NFL topic. Jaguars need to trade Brian Thomas Jr. They don't target him.
Yeah, I'm going to no yell with you on this one because he had a really good season last year with Mac Jones as the quarterback. Jacksonville had that one good game this year against the Chiefs, and they played pretty good against the Bengals. They look good in certain games, but the last couple, man, they haven't looked good at all. They've got to find a way to get him involved. Travis Hunter really hasn't played that well either this year. And the Jags they haven't looked good the last couple of weeks. But I think that if they start getting him involved, he's only in his second year, so, they're not going to trade him right now or anything like that. But I don't know. Maybe you get rid of Trevor Lawrence and bring somebody else in there at quarterback. Liam Cohen doesn't seem to get along with him real well.
The only reason why I said that is because they don't target him. When they do, they win. Or at least they're competitive. But like last game, kind of like Johnston last night. I don't think they even targeted him last game. And I said, you're not going to target him. Why even have him?
Yeah, but I think he's just in his second year. They're not going to trade him right now or anything like that. But like I said, Liam Cohen may want to bring in his own quarterback. We'll see how that goes at the end of the season. My next topic, yell or no yell, is the SEC suspended the wrong people last week. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but the SEC suspended referee Kim Williamson for the remainder of the season following the performance of his crew during a game between Georgia and Auburn. You know what game I'm talking about, right? They're clapping. I was just clapping. I'm just clapping. Kirby Smart calling the timeout, no timeout. I think that they suspended the wrong people in that one. They shouldn't have suspended the refs. They should have. If they're going to suspend the refs, they need to suspend Kirby too for lying about it.
I'm gonna have to yell with you on that. There's been a lot of referees like been in the crosshairs, a couple of them, but that was one. There's some in the NFL for blatantly bad calls. Like you're seeing them look at the plays that are being like not being called, and they're egregious, and so. But yeah, I agree with you. They need to suspend everybody that's mainly involved in that terrible call. Yeah, because this is not timeout. This is not. Hey, I'm clapping. You could go like yes.
Yeah. Especially when you can see him mouthing timeout, and he's like, "No, I'm just clapping. They're trying to, get the signals. I'm just clapping." No, you're not. You're calling timeout. Run down the field, calling timeout. Quit lying, Kirby. Man. All right, Gordon. What's your next yell or no yell topic?
Okay, going back to I know that we both agreed it was time for Franklin to go, but after that, have you seen? Was it a good look that they're losing all these recruits now? A lot of the top recruits are going to other schools now.
Yeah, I'm gonna yell with you. It's not a good look, but once again, that comes with the territory with the coaching situation. You lose a coach, the recruits are coming to the school nowadays for the coach most part. So it's all going to depend on who they hire next to see if they can bring in their own recruits. We'll see, but yeah, once a coach goes, usually they get a lot of decommits. So it's not good for Penn State right now, but it all depends on who they bring in next. James Franklin also a candidate for Florida job as well.
Well, you probably wouldn't mind him being there. He doesn't win the big games.
No, that's right. I mean, Kentucky beat him when he was at Penn State in the bowl game, so whatever. But they lost to him at Vandy, too, at that point in time. So, we can split with him. I'm fine, but you won't ever have to worry about Florida going to the SEC championship game with James Franklin. I don't mean to bash on James Franklin on this show. Oh, wait, maybe I do. But anyways, oh, man. My next yell or no yell topic is this coaching carousel is going to be one of the bigger coaching carousels that we've ever seen in college football by the season's end.
Well, I'll definitely yell. So far, there's two big jobs out there that are open for sure. Big ones. That's, Penn State and Florida. Then there's other big jobs up there, but not as big. There's like UCLA's going to have one. So it's going to be interesting. There's going to be more big names going, big schools needing coaches. So yeah, it's going to be a fun little watch.
Yeah, and you've got Arkansas. I mean, it's the next. It's obviously not a Penn State or Florida level, but then you got Arkansas and like a tier below that, I believe. You got Oklahoma State, Virginia Tech. But obviously right now there's a lot of teams going to be looking for coaches, and I hope Kentucky is by season's end. Which a lot of people are like, well, maybe this is a bad time to fire Stoops because of all. You can't worry about what everybody else is doing. You got to worry about what you're doing first and foremost before you worry about what other teams are doing at this point in time.
Yeah, you say you worry about number one first, and then you can worry about everybody else.
If it's time to move on from Stoops, and Barnhart believes it's time to move on from Stoops like I do, you've got to move on from Stoops, and then you go and worry about who's out there to replace Stoops. That's what I believe.
Absolutely. Well,
oh, man.
We was just lucky we had someone in-house.
Yeah, absolutely. Your last topic, Gordon, for yell or no yell?
Okay. But staying in college football, BYU is getting no respect as being undefeated. They are once again the underdogs.
I agree. Nobody's talking about BYU once again. They won the Holy War once again last week. They're undefeated. We're going to talk about them after a while in our little pick'ems that we do. But BYU, no respect for the Big 12 BYU team. I'm yelling with you out there. They're undefeated. Got to give them credit for being undefeated. Got a really good running back in LJ Martin back there. Yeah, I agree. I think that some people need to put some respect on the Cougars' name out there.
Put some respect on their name.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, I think I don't have any more yell or no yell topics for this week, so I think that'll do it for us on yell or no yell. Gordon, you kind of come up with to me the other day with a little topic you wanted to bring up here, a little segment we want to talk about, and you want to go ahead and explain what idea you come up with.
I came up with an idea for me and you to talk about a player that may not be talked about. Most generally, the players everyone talks about is quarterbacks, wide receivers, pass rushers, edge rushers, corners. But some of the interior people, maybe defensive linemen that, on some of the lower tiered schools, they could still be power four or offensive linemen. Just somebody that if they got drafted to our teams, one of our teams, Bengals or the Packers, that we would actually be happy to see him come to our team. Kind of gives me something else to look at other than just scores and stats and stuff like that. Like if I'm watching the game, like maybe pay attention to something every now. Of course, somebody's going to do something that's going to make me watch it. So, but yeah, that's my idea. It's just, would we be happy? Would you be happy if your team drafted this person that you saw from another team or your team, whatever, that just stuck out, but they're in the trenches more or less?
All right. So with that, then, Gordon, what player would you like to see your team drafted that nobody's talking about?
Well, I was sitting there watching on the ESPN app, when I was at work. What I do, I can actually watch a little bit, but I was watching the Georgia Tech game against the Duke Blue Devils, and a guy stuck out. Jordan Vandenberg. He's a defensive tackle for the Yellow Jackets. They was inside the 5, ran the ball twice, couldn't move the ball. Couldn't get a first down. Then there was a penalty given to Georgia Tech, which gave Duke a first down. And then 1st and goal from the 3, they ran it 3 times and right towards him and once away from him. And Big Boy just stuffed him. So my team can't seem to stop the run to save their damn ass up the middle. So that's what I'd like to see. So if my team was to draft him, I think he's from South Africa. He's one of them, foreign parts. So if they drafted him, I'd actually be kind of happy because it looks like he can play. Big Boy, like 6'3", 310s.
Well, all right. Well, my pick for my team, I'm looking at Utah offensive lineman, right tackle Spencer Fano. Watched him a little bit last week, seen him a couple of times this year. He's a really good run blocker. Of course, one of the weaknesses my Cincinnati Bengals has is offensive line and protecting that guy back there, number 9. They're not doing a very good job of it, and especially on that right side. I know we got Amarius Mims, but he hasn't been that great. I would like to see him draft Fano. He's also a very efficient run blocker. You can run on that side. Also, a weakness of the offensive line is getting the running game going, as we've seen. So that would take care of a couple of things for my team right there. He's only allowed 2 pressures all season. He's quick, he's effective, and nobody hardly gets past him over on that side. I know he plays for Utah, but still, that's a Big 12 school, whatever. But I really like his game as a under the radar kind of guy, as Spencer Fano from Utah, who I'd like to see the Bengals go get.
Like I said, though, I want to do a segment because I wanted to send a little love to someone other than the skill players and stuff like that. Right. Give a little shout out.
Yeah, man. So with that, then we'll continue that segment each week, and we'll find a different player that's kind of under the radar and kind of highlight him there and give him a little bit of love to the guys who never hardly get the love and attention.
I thought that's good. I like this.
Yeah. So let's go ahead, Gordon. Let's get started. Let's do our little picks here. How about it? Let's get into it. What do you say?
All right. Sounds good.
We'll start off first with the UCLA Bruins traveling to Bloomington to face the number 2 Indiana Hoosiers. Indiana's a 25.5-point favorite at home. Gordon, this matchup a few weeks ago looked to be absolutely horrible, and then Indiana goes and beats Oregon. They've blown out Illinois, but UCLA's kind of been a little frisky here lately. What do we think about this game?
Yeah, they started their streak with the James Franklin pulling the plug.
Yeah.
So Indiana's going to win. Indiana's too good to lose this game. But I don't think they're going to win by 25.5. Can they? Yes, but I just got this thing that they're going to win comfortably, but I don't think it's going to be 25.5. I got UCLA covering, but Indiana with the win.
Yeah, if Deshaun Foster was still in charge for UCLA, I could see UCLA just laying down and getting beat by, 56-0 or something like that. Because there was no offense whatsoever when he was the coach. Now they've taken over, and you got Neuheisel's kid as the quarterback or as the offensive coordinator now. They're actually moving the ball a little bit, looking pretty decent on offense. Fun to kind of watch a little bit there. And then IU, we know what they are right now. They're a really good ball team. Nettie just signed a big extension last week, $90-some million. He's not going anywhere from Indiana. I think Indiana wins this game too. Like you said, I think they get comfortable. It's never a game where it's like, okay, maybe UCLA can come and win this game, but IU's up by at least 2 scores for most of the game. Not really competitive, but they don't completely run away with it either. I like Indiana to win this game, but I like a UCLA cover. The next game we're going to go to, let's do it right here. The number 17 Tennessee Volunteers travel to Lexington to face the Kentucky Wildcats. Tennessee is an 8.5-point favorite. Tennessee's an 8.5-point favorite at Kentucky. Gordon, what do we think about this game right here?
I don't think Tennessee can pull away from them. I think it's going to be close. UK could win, but I'm thinking Tennessee wins, but UK will cover. I don't think it'll be more than, it'll probably be like the Texas game as far as point differential. It might be just 3s, but okay, let me put it this way. I'm hoping UK wins, but I think Tennessee will win, but Kentucky will cover.
Man, I hate Tennessee. First of all, because it's Tennessee, and I just hate them because they're low down, they're dirty, there's some snitches. And I hate Philip Fulmer. I hate all their colors. I'm not a dog person. I just hate Tennessee, man. Like, I hate Neyland Stadium. It looks like a garbage truck worker convention, and I hate all their quarterbacks. I just hate Tennessee, man. Their colors reminds me of, it's not that orange you can sit with. I hate Tennessee more than I hate Louisville. I just dislike Louisville, but I hate Tennessee. See, Tennessee colors is that throw-up orange. It's not that orange you can sit with. It's that puke inside of a pumpkin orange, and I don't like pumpkins. So I really don't like Tennessee, man. I can't stress that enough. They're losers. They're sore losers because they're not Kentucky. I just hate Tennessee, man. But I think in this game right here, Tennessee's got offense. This is the difference between them and Texas. Kentucky can't put up points. I think Tennessee wins, and I think Tennessee covers. I just don't think Kentucky's going to be able to score with Tennessee.
I'm trying to throw some hope your way, saying they can keep it close.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. For purposes here, I guess I'm going to go with the Volunteers in this one. But yeah, they could suck it. But anyways, next matchup.
But just remember, I told you they was going to keep it close against Texas, and they could have probably pulled it out, and they should have pulled it out.
Right, but the only thing that gets me there is Texas doesn't have an offense. Tennessee does, so that's the only way where I'm like, all right. The next matchup, number 8 Ole Miss travels to Norman to face number 13 Oklahoma. Oklahoma is a 5.5-point favorite. Gordon, what do you think?
Oh, that's a lot of points. When I checked it earlier, it was 4.5, but I know the line moves.
Line moved.
I got Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma will win because it's at Oklahoma. But I don't think they're going to cover. I think it's going to be a game that's going to come down to the last possession. I think it'll be a 3-point game at least. At most. So no, Oklahoma wins, but Ole Miss covers.
I'm with you all the way on this one, man. I thought Ole Miss last week, they had a lead on Georgia, was looking pretty good for a while, and Georgia came back and just took over them. And then Ole Miss, their first loss of the season. I think 1 loss leads to 2 here. Oklahoma, Mateer is getting more healthier with that hand. He looked a lot better last week than he did the week before last against Texas. I think he'll look even better this week. Oklahoma's defense is really good. Ole Miss has got a somewhat decent offense, but I think OU wins this game, and I think they win by a field goal here. I think they'll be able to keep them in check for the most part, and Oklahoma wins at home. Ole Miss covers. The next matchup, we go to the American. Number 18, South Florida, travels to Memphis to face the Memphis Tigers. South Florida is a 6.5-point favorite on the road. Gordon, both of these teams are 6-1. Memphis lost to UAB last week, and Chris Mortensen's son as the interim coach. Who do we like in this one? Does Memphis bounce back or what?
No. South Florida has showed me enough that actually what I got wrote down here is I said USF will cover that spread, and I would take the over on the over-under 63.5 again. I would take the over because USF might score 63.
Yeah, according to ESPN, it's 56.
Okay, it dropped again. It
So
was 63 the other day. Something must have happened.
I would definitely take the over in that one too, especially if you get me 57.5. South Florida, man, they really showed me, they beat Florida earlier in the year. Miami was playing their best ball when they beat South Florida. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And then South Florida beat a really good North Texas team a couple of Fridays ago on here. And that was that was when the over under was what we thought was crazy. And they covered it by themselves almost. There was almost 100 points scored in that game between them two teams. I don't think there's going to be quite that many points scored, 100 there, but I think the over's hitting in this one. South Florida looks really good. Brown, their quarterback, he's a really big guy back there, and he can run the ball too. I mean, he comes running at you. I mean, it's like, I don't want to say it because people will be thinking, it's like Cam Newton coming at you. He's the size of Cam Newton back there. He's got a pretty good arm. I like South Florida to win this one. I think South Florida covers on the road.
Yeah, I think they cover, and I would definitely take the over. If it's 57.5, that would almost be a lock.
Hammer the over in that game for sure. The next matchup, we got a top 25 matchup, a top 15 matchup, in fact. Number 15, Missouri Tigers travel to Nashville to face the number 10 Vanderbilt Commodores. Vandy is a 3.5-point favorite at home. Gordon, what do you think about the Fighting Diego Pavias?
Well, I explained to you last night. I write coin toss on certain games, and this one I hear is a coin toss. Missouri's got a hell of a running game.
Yes.
And Vanderbilt has a good passing game with Diego Pavia. They both got decent defenses, above average. So it's at home. I'm taking Vandy at home, and I'll go ahead and take the cover because it's 3.5. I mean, they may not. They may only win by 3, but I would take them to cover. I would take Vanderbilt because they got a pretty good run defense. Vandy does.
Yeah. So both of these teams right here have one loss in the season, and that one loss was both to the same team, Alabama. Now, Vanderbilt's game was at Bryant-Denny Stadium. The Missouri loss was at home. Missouri played Alabama closer in that game. But, like I said, on the road, at home, a little bit different. This is going to be a good game. I'm with you, man. This is going to be a toss-up. This is maybe one of the better games of the weekend. Certainly going to be one of the better games of the weekend. And nobody would sit there and think Missouri and Vanderbilt's going to be a game of the week in week 9 of college football, right? Nobody thought that. You think these two teams, you don't think, even basketball, you don't think it's going to be a good matchup. But, especially football, you don't think it's going to be that way. But this is going to be a really highly entertaining game, but I think Missouri comes in as a road dog, and they pull off an upset here. Give me Missouri in this one, and, of course, they cover because they're the road dog. Jesse James, and there's my one for the show. All right, the next matchup, Gordon, we're going to talk about those BYU Cougars here. Number 11, traveling to Ames to face the Iowa State Cyclones. Iowa State is 2.5-point favorite. Gordon, we just talked about no respect for BYU. Here they are getting no respect once again, 2.5-point dogs on the road. What do you think about this one?
Well, like I said, I keep wondering why in the world they're not getting any respect. Now this one I can see, but not. They are on the road. But last week they was at home versus Utah and was underdogs.
Yeah, like 8-point underdogs or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that. And I took BYU, of course. I said, well, they're the dogs.
Yeah.
I'm taking them. And they ended up winning outright. So I'm going to take the road dogs, Jesse James. Take BYU.
Here we go. Iowa State, they've kind of been a little disappointing. I know they're 5-2, but they haven't looked real good the last few weeks. Their quarterback, old Rocco Beck, back there. I mean, he hasn't really been that impressive this season. Like I said earlier, LJ Martin, really good running back for BYU. They got a really good running game over there. And they're not too bad on offense either, passing. I like BYU to go in there too as the road dogs and win this game. I think that they cover this spread as well, of course, because of the road dogs. But give me BYU, and let's put some respect out there on the Mormons. Let's go. Cougars win. Our next matchup, we're staying in the Big 12, and we've got, you want to talk about big spreads, we got one here. The Baylor Bears travel to Nippert Stadium to face the number 21 Cincinnati Bearcats. Cincinnati is a 3.5-point favorite at home. Gordon, the Bearcats have played really good. They've rattled off like 6 in a row since their first loss of the season to Nebraska. What do you think about this game here?
This is one that I'll be the first one to admit I've not given UC any respect all year.
Me either.
I mean, anytime they played someone decent, I thought they were just going to get run over, and they haven't been. So I think it's about time that I give them a pinch. I think they're going to win, but I think it's going to be a last-second field goal that's going to win it, so I don't think they're going to cover. But I think it's going to be a high scoring. It should be high scoring, but I think it'll be 3-point max win at most for Cincinnati. So I'll take them to win, but not to cover.
Cincinnati, they're 4-0 right now in the Big 12, looking pretty good. Baylor's 2-2. Baylor last week kind of struggled a little bit against TCU. That game you thought was going to be a high-scoring game too, kind of was underwhelming, but it poured down rain the whole time. Weather's supposed to be nice this Saturday for football. Sawyer Robinson has 2,300 yards in the air, 21 touchdowns so far this season for Baylor. They like to put up yards. Washington's a pretty good running back for Baylor. Sorsby's been a pretty good little quarterback for Cincinnati. They've been sneaky good, sneaky exciting. They finally cracked the top 25. They've won 6 in a row. I think it continues this week too. I think that they win. I don't think that they cover. The 66.5 is the over-under. I think it gets close to it. I don't know if it gets over or not, but it should be a really good, fun, exciting game. If you like offense, you like passing, you're going to love this game right here. But give me the Bearcats to win this one. Our next matchup, top 20 matchup. Number 3, Texas A&M Aggies travel to number 20 LSU Tigers. A&M's a 2.5-point favorite. Gordon, is Texas A&M the least talked about top 5 team that we've had in a long time?
Yeah, I barely ever hear anything from them or about them. I mean, I did today, but it's only because they're going to be playing. It's because of who they're playing. It ain't because of them. They're probably playing a big chip on their shoulder. But as far as the pick goes, let me pour some gasoline on that fire. I think the team is. I think LSU is going to win, and they're going. Of course, they're going to cover because they're the road dogs, or they're home dogs, not road dogs. They're home dogs, because it's at LSU. It's at Death Valley at night. Tough place to play at night. I know it has more to do with the coach and players than it does a lot of things, and I don't think I don't think their fan base likes Brian Kelly all that much. But I got
his family.
LSU winning and covering tonight.
So Texas A&M, number 3 in the land right now. Last week they were in a shootout against Arkansas, 45-42. I think that may be more about Arkansas now and Bobby Petrino and the kind of game he wants to play. LSU's offense has not got going this year at all. They haven't looked good on offense. Defense has played pretty decent, but they've been disappointing. I think the disappointment continues. Give me Texas A&M to win this one. I think that they win. I think they cover. I think they win by a field goal. But you're right. This is a tough place to play at night, Death Valley. But I don't know. I don't think that offense has got going for LSU, and I don't look for them to get going this Saturday night either. Texas A&M's got a pretty good defense. Give me the Aggies. That leads us to the last game of the week that we're going to pick, and that is the Houston Cougars travel out to where do they play out there? Is it Tempe? Well, maybe Tempe. I think it's Tempe, right? Tempe. Number 24, Arizona State Sun Devils. The Sun Devils are a 7.5-point favorite. Gordon, Arizona State is a team that went and lost to Mississippi State earlier in the year. Sam Levitt didn't play the week before last because he was hurt, and then he came back last week, and nobody thought he was coming back. Something weird going out there. I don't know what's going on with Arizona State, but if he's playing, they're playing pretty good. If he's not playing, I don't know. But what do you think about this game?
What? Okay, Arizona State is at home. I do not go against Arizona State. Like I said, every time I do, they win. And they ruin me. So I've got Arizona State winning, but a Houston cover because Houston is pretty good. Yeah. Another team that I've kind of disrespected all year and kept going against them, and they kept proving me wrong. So I got Arizona State winning, but a Houston cover. So it's going to be kind of close.
Yeah, Houston's 6-1 on the season. Nobody's talked about Houston hardly ever either. Arizona State's 5-2. They got Sam Levitt. If he's playing, that's good. They've also got a top 10 draft pick, I believe, over there on that team, and that's Jordan Tyson at wide receiver. That guy is a really good wide receiver, and he's coming out after this year. I think he's going to be a top pick. I think Arizona State wins this game, but I think Houston wins. I think it's going to be about a field goal game, but it's going to be an entertaining game in the Big 12 between these two teams. But give me the Sun Devils. And that will do it for our picks. Unless you want to pick Michigan State, Gordon. I didn't put that on there because Michigan State is awful. Michigan's barely ranked. So this sounds good to me. Man, so Gordon, you got anything else to add here at the end of this podcast here before we sign off for the week with our college football?
No, I think I'm pretty good except for one thing. I do
too. I want you to be right too.
And I'm kind of happy my team's off because I wish they was playing today and off next week because I'm off tomorrow, but I got work next Saturday when they play. So one thing Packers play Sunday night, so I'll be home. So
yeah, big game Sunday night coming up. Kentucky plays Tennessee tomorrow. Kentucky's got Purdue. Maybe I'm not saying Purdue yet because they're pretty decent in basketball. If it was football, I'd be like Purdue. But yeah, they got Purdue tonight, number 1 team coming in. College basketball's getting started. We've got the World Series starting tonight. Got a sports equinox on Monday. NBA people are still out here getting arrested. Man, it's a crazy time. It's a crazy time in the sports world, man. And we're right in the middle of football, and it's great. The weather's cooling off. We're getting football weather. I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be a good week of football because isn't every week of football a good week of football, Gordon?
But there's always at least 1 or 2 games in every time slot that's decent.
Yes.
At least one.
Yes, especially on Saturdays.
Yeah, well, last week, though, on Sunday, we thought that last slate was going to be bad until the fourth quarter of the Broncos-Giants game. And we're like, whoa, this is an awesome game now.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, that'll do it for us this week. Go to w.gg, use our promo code YELLING, and save 10% at checkout. Gage approves of it so far. And use the link in the description. And we will catch you all next week. See ya.